Hello, everyone. Today I'll be discussing a couple of ChatGPT use cases in data engineering. I had over the past few weeks that I've been hearing about ChatGPT. I've only used it once. That I found it quite helpful in my work. As a data engineer, most times you get a requirement, you do a lot of analysis with proprietary data. So it's a little bit difficult to start leveraging ChatGPT for those data analysis since you have to upload all that data and it's not a safe or allowed um, case in the real world. Data is meant to be your company data is meant to be private and not to be shared in an open source platform. However, I have found it useful, especially anytime I see myself researching on Google for a given code snippet or um, debugging an error message. Sometimes it might help. The only problem is Google is more updated and ChatGPT might not have the latest and greatest information on the different issues that you might be having. First, I have a bunch of questions that I came up with that I've seen sometimes I research in the real world. And since as a data engineer, I normally use PySpark. So let's ask ChatGPT how to perform some of this. First question: how can I perform uh, upsell logic in SQL? Just ask it and see what it's gonna say. So it understands I can do merge. So it gives me the syntax, which I can literally copy and paste, so which is quite good. However, as you may know, this is ANSI SQL. It is not really specific to a platform. So when you have this code, it's a good template to start with. One thing I've seen with ChatGPT is sometimes the syntax is not exactly correct. Maybe it could be a little bit about in the indentation. It could be some typo. So sometimes you still have to make sure it actually works for your use case. So it gives it very nice explanation, so that is quite good. So let me ask it a little bit more specific about PySpark. How can I do the same in Databricks? PySpark. Let me see. And I like the fact that with Databricks or with ChatGPT, you can actually um, have a follow-up question, and it understands that you are following up your question with a new question, and that actually is very useful. It almost makes it like you're interacting with a human being, which is quite powerful. However, I don't think this works, in Databricks, even though it's telling you to do this. This is actually not really how it works with Databricks PySpark. I haven't. I can show you to do this. Normally, to do the merge insert, I had I had I don't think I have the script right now. But I used to have the script, but it's a little bit of a different syntax to do this. However, it's still quite good. Now, let's talk about another common scenario. This is a common interview question that we have in data engineering interviews. How can I to say, write me a query to find the duplicate records in a table in SQL. So if you can see here, why is it doing a self join? Interesting. So it gives you a good example of what you can do on basically doing the group by on the columns that you want you care about and doing the count. This should be able to identify the duplicate records. However, I went further to actually show the entirety of the records. Let's say you had a bunch of columns in your my table, let's say columns 1 to 20, but you only this is the primary key. So this is showing you how you can do it with the join. However, I'm not used to this. Let's see if he knows how to use the window functions. So can you do the same with the window function? So let's see. As you can see, it knows about the window function. So this is what I normally do in the real world. The row number partition by, and it got it right. So it's quite smart, as you can see. And we can we can actually do another test for a general question. Let's say, how can I improve my ETL pipeline performance? This is a very broad question, so it's giving me a bunch of ideas, which is all good. Data compression, parallel processing, filtering data, it's all good. Indexing, caching, monitoring, updating hardware. Yeah, it depends. Everything depends. So this is all quite good. Now let's try to see if it can actually help me debug something specific, which I don't really know. Let's copy this error message. Very random. This might be a challenge. No context. Let's see. Help me debug this error message. This might be quite challenging because it has no context on it. Wow, it's able to figure out it's a Python. Yeah, it's not too bad. However, that's not the root cause, but it's still quite good to be able to figure out uh, this Python is a DLT module. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I think a lot of times with ChatGPT, if you are scared about your job role, don't be as a data engineer. There's still a long way to go because, like I said, the data, understanding the data requirements and the working on the pipelines are very specific to the company and that the business requirements, they all need a lot of domain knowledge that is quite hard to input all that information to ChatGPT to get the code written for you. So by the time you input all that specific requirement uh, that says, "Oh, use this table, join to this other table, give me the last um, cost by on an average by the month." All that detail, he doesn't know the column name, he doesn't know a lot of the details on the database side. So that might end up taking a lot of your time to debug and to feed the information into a chat GPT like this. So hence how I'm thinking as a data engineer, the most useful um, opportunities for a chat GPT is for coming up with the code for example, specific functions or algorithms that you need to implement that are quite generic, or to help you with the syntax, help you with debugging. These are things that currently you can Google on Stack Overflow, but with ChatGPT, as you can see, the responses are quite detailed, quite straight to the point. It gives a lot of examples, which is very, very nice. And it helps cut the time, looking over different responses on Stack Overflow or Google. However, the catch is that it may not be updated, it may not be the correct um, response based on your database or your platform. However, it's very good to start with. That's it for this video. I hope you learned something about ChatGPT and application in data engineering. I will see you next time.